Hello, fanatic cookers. Here we are back. We'd like to thank you for your encouragements, for all your likes, for all the positive comments. And I really thought it was great that so many people tried to make the dish and enjoyed the dish. So as you can see outside, it's winter, it's rainy, it's cold, it's gray. High time for another Belgian dish. Today we will make Belgian Endive rolled in ham. Belgian Endive is a typical Belgian vegetables, and you can do many things with Belgian Endive. You can make soup, you can make appetizers, you can cook it, you can grill it. Many ways to make delicious Endive. But before we start, let me tell you a personal story. When I was a kid, one day my parents made Belgian Endive, and I just hated it, and I didn't want to eat it. Now, my parents lived through the Second World War, and they had problems to find food. So they really insisted that I would eat what was on the table, but I just hated my Belgian Endive, and I just didn't eat it. And they said, no problem, we'll take it away, you'll get it back tomorrow. That went on, that story, for 3 days. On the third day, I was so hungry, I managed to eat it. Now, I just love Belgian Endive, and we will show you how to make delicious Endive rolled in ham. So let me start by showing you all the ingredients that we need. But may I remind you, I'm not a professional chef. What we are doing today, if I can make it, you can make it. So here are the ingredients, nothing complicated. Of course, this is going to be a meal for 4 persons, so I have 4 endives. This is a secret that's still in there, I'll show you later on. Then we have the ham, some slices of ham. We have the potatoes, we're going to make mashed potatoes. You can make cooked potatoes, but you can also make mashed potatoes. Then the simple ingredients, pepper and salt, you always use when you're cooking. 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of flour. So 50 grams, that's about 1.8 ounces. And some nutmeg, fresh nutmeg. 500 milliliter of milk and 500 grams of cheese. The cheese can be Emmental or Gruyere cheese. I just bought a regular Swiss cheese, 1 pound of cheese. So here we are, ready to go. So the first thing that we do is prepare the Belgian Endive, and I will tell you what my parents forgot to do. They forgot that Belgian Endive has a bitter taste, but you can take the bitter taste away. And how do you do that? By cutting off a small slice from the bottom, just like this, small slice, and you cut out the center, just turn it around, and you peel out, and just do it careful so the whole Belgian Endive doesn't fall apart. So once the center is out, the bitterness is out, you can take off the outside leaves, and then you have a nice clean Belgian Endive. So I told you there was a secret. When I told my brother-in-law that I would make Belgian Endive, he said, oh, I'm not so keen on Belgian Endive, but I like it with leek. I said, okay, I also will make it with leek. I have never made it with leek, so this is going to be an experiment for me. I cut out 2 pieces of leek, about the size of a Belgian Endive, and I will just make them like Belgian Endive rolled in ham. Okay, so the first step is we're going to brown all the Belgian Endive and the leek. I put some butter in the pan, I melt it, and then I just put all the Belgian Endive in there just to brown it. So I put the fire on medium heat, and just be careful and watch. It's only browning that you have to do, so just turn them in time and check if they're browning all right, okay? So it's getting there, so I'm going to leave it a little bit longer in there, so we have a nice brown color. It's getting a nice brown color, so that's enough. So we're going to add some water. And now we're going to close it up and let it steam for about 15 minutes. So while the Belgian Endive is steaming, I have the time to peel the potatoes to make my mashed potatoes. The Endive is ready. It's all steamed. I'm going to take them out and I'm going to drain them. First take the leek. And then I'm going to take the Endive. Just let them leak out. And it doesn't matter that they cool off, because afterwards they go in the oven and they will be warmed up again. Okay. So the next step is we're going to prepare the Belgian Endive to be put in the oven. So I spray my plate. And this is now an important step, is that we have to drain a little bit the Belgian Endive because there's too much water in there, and I do it with a paper towel. I push gently like this. Okay, so it drains all the water, and then I can roll it in the ham. I'm going to put a toothpick so it stays closed when I put it here. Okay, and so I'm going to do the same thing for the leek, especially for my brother-in-law. Same thing, press out the water, it's ready, and there goes the ham around. And I use my toothpicks to keep it closed. And that's number 5, and so it's all ready. Now we are ready to make the bechamel sauce. Bechamel sauce that will go over the Belgian Endive and the ham. First, cheese. Swiss cheese, and I prefer to have it freshly grated. It always keeps a better taste. So just about 1 pound, 450 to 500 grams. That should be more than enough. Nice job. And watch your fingers, you don't grate your fingers in your cheese. As you can see, I have 2 dishes with the grated cheese. Half of it will go in the sauce and half of it will go on top of the sauce once I put it in the oven. Now comes the important part of this dinner, which is making the bechamel sauce. So here are the ingredients of the bechamel sauce. I have milk, flour, butter, cheese, nutmeg, fresh nutmeg, and some lemon. So here we go. Put in all the butter. So this is about 50 grams of butter, 1.8 ounces if you like to know it. So the first step is to make a roux. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not impossible to make. So first, melt the butter. Fire not too high. And then we add all the flour at once. Start stirring. And so you're getting kind of a dough, and you keep on stirring it until you smell a cookie taste. That means that the flour taste is gone. So I think we're getting there. So it's important to get all the flour taste off. So it takes a couple of minutes. So once this is done, you can add some milk. You take it off the fire. So no heat anymore. You add some milk. So now it is important to get rid of all the lumps. So if it's too dry, you just add some more milk. So this seems to look good. And once you have a nice creamy consistency, you can raise the heat again and you add some more milk. So don't add too much milk. We don't want to have a too liquid sauce, also not too thick. This is kind of liquid, but with the cheese in there, that will be okay. So I'm already gonna put some pepper and salt. Okay, some and then this is the secret, the fresh nutmeg. Don't exaggerate with it because it has a very strong taste. So just a little, but that's the extra touch. Smells good, nutmeg. I'm gonna add just a few drips of lemon. That's more than enough. I see at a certain point the sauce becomes thicker. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk. This is a sauce that you have to make with some patience. You know, don't be in a rush because you will ruin the sauce. So this has a nice consistency. And you see I left the pan in which I steamed the endive, and I'm just going to add the juice into the sauce. That gives it an extra taste. And don't worry that it has a brown color. It will disappear in the sauce, but that it's just the little extra that makes a delicious sauce. You see the consistency comes back. And so now I'm going to add the cheese. Boy, this smells good. Yeah, it's asking for some work, but you will be rewarded with an excellent sauce. Boy, you see how creamy it gets. Boy, this is just about perfect. So this is it. An important lesson you learn in the cooking school is that before you serve something, you have to taste. You never can taste enough. So that's what I'm going to do with the sauce. So, oh, fantastic. So ready to serve now. Now that I have a delicious sauce, I'm just going to pour it over the endive and the ham. See that it's all covered. I could have used a little bit more sauce, but that is just fine as long as most of it is covered. Okay, so it's ready for the oven now. Before I do that, I'm just gonna sprinkle some cheese so I have some croûte at the end. It's going to melt also, and it's going to give me a nice layer. Okay, I think we're ready. So I preheated the oven 350 degrees. I'm going to put it in there for 20 minutes. There we go. So now we're going to make mashed potatoes, but I'm going to demonstrate you my machine, which is a KitchenAid machine you don't find in the United States. You do find something similar, which is called Thermomix, and even Cuisinart has also a food processor. So this is one I bought in Belgium. It's the best machine I have in the whole kitchen. I put on my peeled and cut up potatoes in there. I'm gonna add some milk in there. I just throw everything together. I put some butter in there. Then I'm adding a teaspoon of garlic. I have organic garlic on oil. And now comes my little secret. Some people put cream in their mashed potatoes, but my secret is a secret that I learned from a chef in New York in a restaurant in Central Park. We were eating there, the mashed potatoes were so delicious, so I asked the chef to come out and tell me his secret. And he said, just put some Philadelphia cheese in there, you will see. And that's what we have been doing since. So I have some Philadelphia cheese with some herbs, and I just do. There's no exact amount, but usually I put 3 soup spoons in there. So, and that's it. I close the lid. I push the button, and in 20 minutes I will have mashed potatoes and I don't have to look for it. The best mashed potatoes you can dream of. While the Belgian Endive is in the oven, and while the potatoes are making mashed potatoes, I can have a drink with my camera spouse. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Today, I always like to tell something about the wine that we drink. We're drinking a Cyrus wine. It's an American wine. It's not from Napa Valley, it's from Sonoma. And what is great about this wine, it's a mixture of Cabernet, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. So it's a super wine. You can look it up online. Cyrus from Sonoma Valley. And now we're waiting until everything is ready, and then we can go on the table. At the table. Hey, my English sometimes. As long as my cooking is not mixed up, then I don't care about my English, but I care about my food. So this is it. Belgian Endive with bechamel sauce, gratiné, mashed potatoes, gratiné. So now we're ready. I will take a piece. And you know, I will, just for the sake of my brother-in-law, I will taste the leek in ham. So this is all look delicious. I wish you bon appetit. We are looking forward to your comments and your suggestions. And don't forget, if you ever make this meal, send me a picture. Hope to see you next time, because if I get enough encouragements, I have a great appetizer for the holidays. You will not find it in cooking book. It's called the caviar cake appetizer. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.